Stephen Covey said it best when he said, begin with the end in mind. That same thing is true when it comes to creating a marketing strategy. You don't only have to think about how to create awareness or engagement, but you also need to keep in mind the customer retention part of it as well. So that's what I'm going to do today is review the 7 steps that you need in order to create an effective marketing strategy that encompasses the entire customer journey. So stick with me. Hi, I'm Vicki O'Neill, your Plateau to Grow marketer, and today I'm going to review 7 steps that you need to take in order to create an effective marketing strategy that's going to give you the confidence that you need to reach, connect, engage, convert, and ultimately keep your best customers. But as with anything, you need to understand where you've been in order to understand where you're going. So that's what we're going to start with. Step number 1 is conducting an internal audit. Now, I know what you're thinking is like, oh my gosh, I think of taxes or accounting or invoicing or something that's very in depth when you think of an audit. Now, that same concept is going to be applied here, but it's going to be applied to your marketing, your sales, and what's been working so far and not working so far with your customers and your prospects. So in order to understand where you're headed, it's helpful to understand where you've been. And in regards to that, it's what's working and what's not working. So investigating and researching your customer data, talking to other people in your company, no matter what size your company is, even if you're a one-person team, you can have a conversation with yourself, right? You can have that review and that analysis and that in-depth digging and researching to identify what's been working and what's not. Now, when you go through that process, here's a really good thing. You're going to use that information to understand what you need to stop doing, which then is going to create time and resources so that you can do more of those things that is working. Are working? You know what I mean. It's also going to provide you with a solid foundation for moving forward because now you've done that research and understand what is actually occurring with those strategies, those practices, and all of your resources. So things that you can consider for your internal audit also include conducting a SWOT analysis. So it's the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats that help you understand what's working and what you may need to outsource to other people. So the strengths and weaknesses are internal to your organization and the opportunities and threats are external to your organization. So that could be your geography, it could be your market, it could be your industry, or it could be what's going on with your competition. The second part of the internal audit is understanding what your business goals are. So if you're a one-person team, then of course you know what those are. But it's also helpful just to write them down or however you're tracking your overall results, include what those goals are in those documents. That helps you keep your eye focused on what you're trying to achieve in that quarter or that year or just in your business overall. And those could be things like you want to increase your annual revenue by 10%. It could be something like you want to reduce your customer churn by 5%. Or it could be you want to add more revenue per customer. And that means that you might be launching a new product or service that you then can offer to them as an upsell opportunity. The second step in creating an effective marketing strategy is finding out who your ideal customer avatar is. I also call this personas. The reason why I believe that this is most important, and not maybe most important, but it really is kind of important, is that understanding who you're trying to target and understanding their pain points and their obstacles and the urgency behind their need in finding a solution helps you with developing better content, more relevant content that's going to resonate with them and help foster that process along the customer journey a lot better for them. There are some people that have become great customers, and you need to list what those criteria are. Is it how much they spent with you? Is it how quick they were to respond to you? Is it that they don't give you any problems, they pay on time? Are they extremely profitable? When you have those items listed out, that helps you identify trends in your customer data that can help you identify more customers like that person that you want to bring on board. So that's going to vary from company to company, but look at what works best for you and the type of customers that are best for your business and the problem that you solve. And ultimately, that's the entire reason why you're in business, is to help connect the dots between the solution that you provide and those prospects or people who need to have it. The third step in creating an effective marketing strategy is creating a competitive analysis. It's important to understand who the other players are in your space. So I suggest taking a poll or just doing a quick review of who those top 2 to 3 competitors are in your space and researching them, understanding what their products are, what their price points are, what's their competitive advantage, and understanding the differences in the value that you provide to that pool of prospects compared to what they provide. This helps with conversations that you're having with your prospects in case they're already using a competitor or if they're even considering a competitor. Now, I'm of the belief of, in a conversation with prospects, I never mention a competitor, but I do keep top of mind the advantages and the differences that I provide, and I include those in the conversation as well. And keeping your finger on the pulse of what changes are happening so that when you're looking at your data or you're having those conversations with prospects, that you know why there might have been a dip in web traffic last month. Or in Q2, if there was new technology that became available and your competitor took advantage of it, but you didn't, then that might be reflective in your numbers as well. So just go through that exercise of understanding what's going on with your top 2 to 3 competitors in your market, and that'll help you have better conversations and more valuable conversations with your prospects. The fourth step in creating an effective marketing strategy is a content strategy. This is going to be one of your most important steps of this process because your content strategy is that step in the process that starts taking action on everything else that you're doing. The content is what your prospects are going to see and be attracted to and start liking and engaging and helping them go through that process of their customer journey. And by providing content along those different paths in their journey, when they need it, where they need it, why they need it, then that's going to help you better connect with them and help nurture that process from the time that they become aware of who you are and all the way through the process of know, like, trust, buy, and then ultimately retain, because that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that we're keeping our customer acquisition costs down. And by understanding all of those components ahead of time and really honing in on those emotional triggers of why they're looking for your solution to begin with, and that's going to help them connect with you and then help you nurture that process along the way. The fifth step in creating an effective marketing strategy is your lead generation or your lead conversion. And part of this process is understanding what qualifies as a high quality lead. That's something that if you're a one person team, then you can identify what those high quality criteria are for a lead that's perfect for you to continue to nurture and convert them to a sale. If you're working with other people in your company or other teams, it's important to collaborate with them and have that open communication as to what qualifies for a high quality lead and list out what those criteria are so that you can create and better provide content either to your sales team or through your marketing efforts online and the content that you're creating. You can create better content that's going to resonate with them no matter what step they are in the process. And that's going to generate higher quality leads that then are going to have a higher conversion to sale. And that brings me to step number 6 of creating an effective marketing strategy, and that is sales. That's where you're generating your revenue, but it doesn't stop there. And the important thing about once that sale is made is not just saying, okay, I have a new customer, but it's also understanding what that process is after they sign the paperwork or after they sign online and agree to do business with you. and looking at not just the number, but what does the onboarding process look like, and understanding what is involved in that process in order to better understand what communications need to happen up front to set those expectations of here's what you can expect in doing business with us or in buying from us. That can come through in a blog post or an infographic or even an email campaign where you have a group of prospects who are ready to buy, but you just can't get them to cross over and say yes to you. And maybe that's just creating that micro moment for them to say, here's what you can expect, and include testimonials of other customers who have had a great experience with you in that onboarding process. So look at your sales as an opportunity to not only track the marketing that's working and those leads that converted at a high rate, but look at what happens during the sales process. What was the lead or what was the handoff process? What happens after they actually buy from us? The customer journey doesn't stop once they convert to a sale. It continues beyond that. And the experience that they have after buying from you is just as important as the experience they had when they first found you. So keep that in mind, that part of your marketing strategy and your content strategy can talk about the after sale process. And that's just going to help create more trust and authority in your brand. And creating that transparency is going to help expedite that process faster. And the seventh step in creating an effective marketing strategy is retention. I know that's not typically considered part of the marketing strategy, but it really needs to be. And the reason why I say that is because your marketing efforts may start with creating awareness and promoting the solutions that you offer, but all of your customers choose to buy from you for a particular reason. And they don't want that experience that occurred all the way up to the sale to stop. Chances are they had a great experience with you and they want to continue with that experience and they want to continue buying from you. The best way to do that is to create a separate marketing strategy for retaining existing customers. That is going to involve a completely different thought process, but it really needs to focus in on the fact that they've chosen you. So that the marketing piece of that could be something like creating a club that only your existing customers are a part of. It could be a VIP club, or it could be involving them in product development and getting their feedback. What's missing from our existing products? What do we really need to include? And does that mean creating a separate solution, or do we just enhance the existing product? Your customers are really your greatest advocates, your greatest fans, and they can help you internally with whatever research and solutions that you're considering. So create a marketing strategy that's focused on customer retention so that you can continue leveraging all of that time and effort in the content that you created in converting them to a customer and continue giving them a great experience now that they are. As you go through each one of these 7 steps in creating an effective marketing strategy, I encourage you to think like your customer. I know it's hard to do that sometimes because we get so involved in our business and making sure that everything's moving all the time and on all cylinders. But it's important that we keep in mind that we're in business to solve a particular problem, and understanding what that problem is and how to best solve it is what needs to be kept in mind. So as you're going through this process of each of the 7 steps, put yourself in your customer's shoes and imagine what you're implementing, how that's going to affect them, and make their experience with your brand the best. Before you leave, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification so that you are aware of when I upload new videos every week. Also, when I go live every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. During that time, I'll review different marketing tips, best practices, and I also have guests now and then. Don't forget to subscribe, and until next time, make today great.